I am walking while doing this video, and I started a playlist called Narcissists and Funerals, right? And this video is going to be about putting more thought into it. Okay, so this is a strength and a weakness for empathic people, right? Okay, the funeral has begun, and you find out later that some estranged family members, which are family members that are in no contact with you, you're not choosing to be in no contact with the family members, right? This is something that narcissists have encouraged for these particular family members, right? And they send flowers to someone that they refuse to talk to, right? And of course, your empathy initially is like, well, that's a kind deed. That's nice. You're grieving, right? You're not in a space where you're really processing it. You just like, okay, whoever sends a card and flowers is fine, right? But once you put more thought into it, and this is why a lot of empathetic people continue to get abused, whether it be emotionally or physically, it's because they don't put enough thought into it. And so, okay, it's been a couple of weeks since the funeral, right? And you're back to your normal activities. And now you have time to put some thought into it as you go through the grieving stage. So you're like, these estranged family members sent these flowers. And in this case, you don't even find out till you get back to where you live, because the funeral is out of state. And so you think about this and you're like, that was kind of disrespectful, because a lot of narcissists and narcissistic people, they will continue to remain in no contact with family members that they should be in contact with, because other narcissists and sociopaths and psychopaths encourage this behavior. Because not only just encouraging the behavior, the enemy encourages the behavior. I mean, evil entities don't want you talking to your loved ones, basically. I mean, the devil hates family. He absolutely hates family. The total entity that could be demonic does not like family. And so narcissists are steadily falling for this trick. However, you might have this person blocked or unblocked or whatever, but you might need to get some boundaries straight, right? My suggestion would be to let this family member know, thank you for these flowers that you sent to our family. However, you're choosing to stay in this position of no contact. And it's okay for you to have this discussion, because you ain't no narcissist, y'all. You know, you got to remember, that's the narcissist's way of torturing you also. But who they're really torturing is themselves, because they're not your Lord anyway, so you shouldn't be worshiping these people. I mean, if these toxic people are in no contact, so be it. But the boundary is this: estranged family members that are narcissists and that are acting narcissistic need to stop sending flowers to people that they chose not to talk to their whole life, or for many, many years. Not their whole life, I take that back, for many, many years. Some people they will have chose not to talk to forever, because, like, for example, say someone was adopted and their birth mother or their father, their biological father, gave them up for adoption because they were unable to care for them, or in a situation that would have been harmful to the child. So the adopted parent, not the adopted parent, but the birth parent and the biological father, many years later, would like to apologize and begin some kind of relationship. A lot of adopted children will reject their parents, even though their biological parents gave them up for very good reasons. And so the parents that gave their child up for adoption may be very empathetic. That's why they gave you up for adoption, because they didn't want you to suffer. But now their offspring and this child, whether it be male or female, they're now a narcissist because the adopted parents were narcissists and made them that way, right? And so in a case like this, they refuse to talk to their biological parents, basically have hatred for them. And then when their biological parents die, they want to send some flowers to the funeral home. That's disrespectful. I mean, they had all those years, 30, 40, 50, 60, sometimes more years to communicate with their biological parents. What's the purpose of the flowers? You get what I'm saying? So once you put more thought into it, you gotta stop this cycle, right? So communicate. Even if you gotta unblock this person, say, look, thanks for the flowers. However, if you're going to continue to be an estranged family member to not just me, these other individuals that you're sending these flowers to, if you're not going to come out of no contact and be a real family member, like family should be. Family, we should be communicating in person and on the phone. Real live connections. Not no texting, not just communicating on no messenger. I mean, real communication. If the narcissist or the narcissistic estranged family members are never going to offer that, you got to somehow communicate it to where they understand that going forward, these flowers that they will send to their empathetic family members will be thrown in the trash. And people do this, y'all. A lot of times these flowers come in from these narcissists. Bye, Kaylee. I'll see you later. Have a great night. I'm sorry, y'all. That's Kaylee. She's so sweet. So, and you don't know her last name. I'm not giving her work information out or anything like that. There's other Kayleys, but not one like her. That is a sweet, empathetic young lady. I just met her today, and I will do a video about the kindness that she offered to me as a human being and a lady, and I'm in a position where I needed that kindness, y'all. So anyway, okay, let's go on with this video. So again, I'm outside doing the video, but I just had to do this. So yeah, putting more thought into it. I mean, you got empathetic people that have narcissists that are in no contact with them. And believe you me, it has been done before. Okay. Uncle Bill, the narcissist, or Uncle Billy could be, or Uncle Bill could be an empath. But in this case, we're just going to say Uncle Bill was the narcissist. Unfortunately, even though there's many Bills that are empathetic, I knew one myself that I used to work with. He was very empathetic. So nothing against the name Bill. I just threw that nice name out there. And Uncle Bill has been in no contact with the empathetic person that passes away, right? And Uncle Bill decides to send some flowers. And the empath had a strong will and had a strong bond with other empathic family members. The empathic person that passed away even had a strong bond with other narcissists in the family. And they got Uncle Bill flowers and they pitched them in the garbage. Okay? Because that's not a real relationship, y'all. Empathic people, we don't have relationships like that. Narcissists do. Narcissists want to have this torturing no contact and then think that they doing something or saving their soul because they send some rusty flowers to somebody and they can keep them. So you gotta have that boundary. Do your will, y'all. Communicate with other relatives and let them know that, hey, if I die and this narcissist sends these flowers, please do not put those around my casket. Please don't do that. Now, if it's a situation where, okay, it wasn't a no contact situation, you just lost contact with a high school friend and it was no grudge and somehow they found out you died and they sent flowers, that's different. But we're talking about immediate family members, even cousins. They held a grudge and didn't talk to you for 20, 30 years or longer. Those flowers don't deserve to be there. Or like beautiful Kaylee would word it when we were talking about another situation and we were discussing it privately of what we were discussing, and like she said, they don't deserve it. But see, you got to put more thought into it to figure out what's deserved and put a stop to it. Let them know no more. You can stay in no contact, narcissist, but if that's what you're gonna do and you're gonna continue that behavior, keep the breadcrumbing flowers, because that's breadcrumbing, y'all. Somebody not offering you a real family relationship and you're empathic and they're holding a grudge. They're listening to other narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths that influence them to not have a real relationship with their family. And then when everybody dies or someone dies, they just send some flowers. That's breadcrumbing. That's a form of breadcrumbing, because they're giving you very, very little of really what you deserve to have. You deserve to have a real relationship. That's what you wanted to have, but they didn't offer anything but those flowers. Okay? And you got to be careful, because I apologize for the noise, y'all. You just got to be very careful, because those flowers in some cases may be evil flowers. Maybe they're making fun of the fact the person's dead. You just never know. Like, ha ha ha, you're dead, I'm alive. You just don't know. So the spirit of those flowers need to stop. And so this video is to make you consider, if you are in charge of the funeral services and you are the primary person and you knew that empathetic person that's in that casket or that has been cremated and they're in that urn, you gotta be the person that sticks up for that empathetic person. Try to have these conversations before you die. If you're empathetic, mention it to your nearest loved ones that would be in charge of your funeral and let them know, hey, if that narcissist or that sociopath or psychopath sends me some flowers, please discard those, right? And the reason you want to have these conversations now is because now you know that they do it. Because I just seen it happen. Now keep in mind, I didn't know that those narcissistic people or those narcissists sent those flowers until after I had got back in town. But it happened. They hoovered, right? What's hoovering? That's when the narcissist starts some form of communication. That's a hoovering. They're hoovering you after death. That's basically what happens. You don't have to be alive for the narcissist to hoover. So consider this, put more thought into it, and make sure that these particular things are in your will. You also got to protect yourself from them speaking at your funeral. I saw a situation where a woman She was mad with her father because she claimed that he was a racist. I don't know if he was or not, right? Only she knows her dad. But I watched a video of her speaking at this man's funeral, and she said some things that kind of stood out, like my father wouldn't have wanted me to disrespect the dead. But she said horrific things about that man, and to me, that ain't the place for that. This man's funeral, even if he was a racist, y'all, I don't even know if he deserved what she did. She was biracial. I'm not going to point out what the races were, but she was biracial, and she hated her father and claimed he was a racist. And that's fine. I mean, but she had all that time to mention that to him before death. I mean, is it very godly and empathetic to humiliate the body and life of your father? I mean, because what I noticed was she talked about his racism, but if he was that racist, this is just my opinion, y'all. Like I said, she was biracial. If he was that racist, she wouldn't be here. He couldn't have been that racist because he did it to her mama and brought her here, right? And I know people can be intimate with others and still be racist. But in my opinion, I'm just going to tell the truth. If a real racist is that racist, he ain't going to date you, right? If I'm that racist, I'm not going to be with nobody that ain't my race. You understand what I'm saying? So there's that window of doubt there for me to wonder. And that woman was cruel. I was like, watching the video, like, somebody should remove her. But you know what? They didn't remove her. So now everybody knows that she could be a narcissist. Because I get that you need to speak your mind, but at the same time, honor thy mother and father. And I'm sorry, you got to think about it this way, right? Even if your parent is a so-called racist, how are they treating you? How do they treat you, right? Because you got to judge your parents on how they treat you also. Are they great parents to you? And then you can understand and know not to approve of their racism. And this is where you decide as an empathetic person, I'm not going to be racist like my parents are. But remember, having a preference is not racism. If you're a certain race and you just want to date within your own race, that's just a preference. It doesn't fall into racism until you just start hating people or having a strong dislike for people just because of their race, but they haven't done anything to you. So anyway, I'm going to end this video here shortly, and this walk is helping me, but put a little bit more thought into it because I had to do it. Initially, I was like, oh, that's nice. Or I just acknowledged that it was done. But when I put more thought into it, I was like, these particular people that sent these flowers refused to talk to this person that passed away. Right? And they had many, many years to do it and didn't. Stop accepting their flowers because it's breadcrumbing. Get your stuff in order. Let these narcissistic and narcissists know, and these psychopaths know not to do it again. If you're in no contact with me while I'm alive and you had all those years to fix it, stay in no contact and offer me that when I'm in my casket or in my urn. Please offer me that. Don't try to manipulate a funeral and show up like you was a good person. And then they'll send these flowers, but they're not gonna show up even in your death. So they're gonna do you the same way. because they have no empathy. So just like they didn't show up when you were alive, they're not going to show up at that funeral in your death. Someone that at least shows up at your funeral in your death may have some real respect for you. But these narcissists are not going to show up properly even in your death. That's all they're going to do is send these cheap, low-level flowers, right? That's it. So think about this and put a little bit more thought into it, right? And you gotta add that to your basket, because as empathetic people, we're just always like, okay, well, that was nice, or they did that, or you're not really saying nothing bad about it. Someone said to me, well, oh, I thought you said you liked it at first, or you were okay with it. And my response was, I had to put a little bit more thought into it. With empathy, that's your first response. Thank you. I appreciate it. Or you acknowledge they did it because you're grateful. But when you put a little bit more thought into it, you send that message and say, hey, these are my boundaries. This is what you did. You were estranged from not just me, my family member that passed. And we're just asking, and I'm just asking going forward, that if you're going to stay in this situation and you want to continue to be estranged and you don't want to be a real part of the family element, we actually talk on the phone. We're around each other. We don't just text each other. We're not blocked from one another. If you're going to continue to offer that and have that behavior, we would appreciate it going forward if you don't send these flowers. Now, if we're in contact and you're wanting to be an active, loving member of the family and you send flowers or show up, that's fine. But these are the stipulations. These are the rules. This is how a family is run. Think about that and consider that. And let your lawyer know, your nearest relatives that are going to be doing your service, because what you don't want is these toxic flowers from these narcissists surrounding your casket. You want those flowers left in the back somewhere where somebody's getting ready to donate them or shred them. Okay? I love y'all. And please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you so much. And the basis of this, the reason you got to put a little bit more thought into it, you don't want to be giving people privileges and things that don't deserve it. Just like Kaylee's famous words. They don't deserve it, right? Again, I love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.